Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Tijani Hutabarat. My student number is 25130420443 and I am from ED 25B. Today in this video, I will explain about compound nouns and idioms. Alright, let's get started.
So, what is a compound noun? A compound noun is a lexical unit formed by combining two or more words, which may belong to different parts of speech, that function together as a single noun with a unified meaning. Types of compound nouns. Compound nouns can be classified based on how the words are written or orthography. There are three main types. The first one is closed or solid compound nouns. These are written as a single word with no spaces between the elements. They usually represent words that have become fully established in the language. For example, notebook. The second one is open or spaced compound nouns. This consists of two or more separate words written with spaces, but they function as one unit with a single meaning. For example, ice cream. The third and the last one is hyphenated compound nouns. These are formed by joining words with a hyphen, often to make the meaning clear or to avoid ambiguity. For example, mother-in-law. Grammatical pattern of compound noun. Compound nouns are formed from different combinations of word classes. The most common grammatical patterns include noun plus noun. This is the most productive pattern, where the first noun modifies the second noun or the head. For example, bus stop. The next one is adjective plus noun. An adjective describes or limits the noun, forming a single conceptual unit. For example, blackboard. The next one is verb plus noun. A verb, often in ing form, combines with a noun to indicate function or purpose. For example, washing machine. The next one is noun plus verb. A noun combines with a verb to indicate an action or process related to the noun. For example, sunrise. The next one is verb plus preposition or adverb. A verb combines with a particle to form a noun with a specific meaning. For example, output. And the next and the last one is preposition plus noun. A preposition combines with a noun to create a unified meaning. For example, underworld. The function of compound noun. Compound nouns function primarily as nouns in sentences, but they serve several important grammatical and semantic roles. There's as the subject of a sentence. A compound noun can act as the doer of an action. For example, the bus stop is crowded. The next one is as the object of a verb. It can receive the action in a sentence. For example, she cleaned the blackboard. The next one is as the object of a preposition. It can follow a preposition and complete its meaning. For example, he is waiting at the bus stop. The next one is as a complement or subject or object of the complement. It can rename or describe another element in the sentences. For example, she is a school teacher. The next one is to express specific or specialized meaning. Compound nouns often convey precise concepts that single words may not fully express. For example, toothpaste, or a specific product, not just any paste. The next one is to condense information efficiently. They allow speakers to combine ideas into one compact unit instead of longer phrases. For example, coffee cup instead of a cup for coffee. So now let's move on to idiom. What is an idiom? An idiom is a fixed expression or group of words whose meaning is different from the literal meaning of the individual words that make it up. In other words, the meaning of an idiom cannot be understood by translating each word separately. Types of idiom. There are 4 types of idiom, and the first one is pure idiom. Pure idiom is an expression whose meaning is completely different from the literal meaning of the words. For example, break the ice, which means to start a conversation in a social situation. The second one is binomial idiom. A binomial idiom is an expression made up of 2 words joined by a conjunction, usually and or. For example, safe and sound, which means healthy and unharmed. The third one is partial idiom. Partial idiom is an idiom in which one part of the expression keeps its literal meaning, while the other part has an idiomatic or figurative meaning. For example, break the news, which means to tell important or shocking news. The fourth and the last one is prepositional idiom. prepositional idiom is an idiomatic expression that contains a preposition and usually has a fixed combination. For example, under pressure, which means feeling stressed or being forced by a situation. Functions of idioms. The first one is to make language more expressive. Idioms help show feelings or ideas in a stronger and more colorful way than plain words. The second one is to make communication more natural. People often use idioms in daily conversation, so using them makes speech sound more like a native speaker. The third one is to express meaning more effectively. Idioms can explain something quickly without using long sentences. The fourth one is to create emphasis. They can highlight an idea and make it stand out more clearly. The fifth one is to make speech and writing more interesting. Idioms add variety and creativity, so language doesn't sound boring. That's all for my explanation about compound nouns and idioms. Thank you for your attention and for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.